This morning, a 52-year-old woman told me something that broke my heart. Walter, I've been analyzing every message, every emoji, every response time from this man for the past 3 months. I hardly sleep anymore. How is it possible that at my age, I still don't know whether he likes me or not? And I answered her exactly what I want to say to you now. If you have to become a detective to figure out whether someone likes you, then you already have your answer. Because look, after more than 20 years of hearing stories from intelligent, successful, mature women who turn into insecure teenagers near a phone, I've come to an uncomfortable but necessary realization. We've normalized emotional suffering. We've accepted that love must be confusing, complicated, and full of mixed signals. But that's not true. True love is exactly the opposite. Today, I want to share something with you that I've learned from countless similar conversations. Text messages never lie. They are transparent windows into a person's true intentions. And if you learn to interpret them correctly, you'll never get lost again in that emotional fog that costs us so much energy. Because we no longer have time for games, no more energy for emotional puzzles. We now know that our time is precious, and that we deserve clarity, not guessing games. We deserve men who know what they want and can communicate it without hurting us. That's why I'm going to give you 14 signs that will forever change the way you interpret messages, 10 signs that scream genuine interest, and 4 warning signals you'll never overlook again. And I'm not explaining this to you from some romantic theory, but from my clinical experience. Let's start with the first sign, something many women underestimate. When a man is truly interested in you, he doesn't need a reason to text you. He texts, "Good morning," because he woke up thinking of you. He asks how your day was because he genuinely cares. He starts conversations with no hidden agenda, expecting nothing, simply because he wants a connection with you. And here comes something fascinating from male psychology. When a man is genuinely interested, he doesn't count words, plan tactics, or calculate response times. There's a natural ease, I call it, communication from emotional abundance. It is consistent, and that consistency is the language of mature love. What I observe again and again is the difference between men who are genuinely interested and those who are just passing time. Superficial conversations are the hiding place of those who don't want to engage emotionally. A man who really wants to get to know you goes far beyond "how are you" or "what are you doing right now?" He asks about your dreams, your fears, what moves and touches you. He wants to discover your inner world, not just skim the surface of your calendar. And here comes one of the strongest lessons from my therapeutic practice. There is a massive difference between someone who knows you and someone who truly sees you. If someone is genuinely interested in you, he remembers the important details of your life. He remembers your big meeting on Tuesday, your concern about the medical test, the tough conversation with your sister, not because he has an extraordinary memory, but because you matter to him. Neuroscience explains it clearly. Our brain stores what is emotionally significant to us. If someone remembers your details, then his brain, consciously or unconsciously, prioritizes everything that has to do with you. That is an unmistakable sign that you occupy a meaningful place in his emotional and mental universe. And let me tell you something I keep seeing in my work. A man with real interest doesn't wait for a free moment to text you. He integrates you into his daily life. He tells you he's stuck in traffic, that his boss is stressing him out, that he found a song he likes. He shares with you the small moments of his day, not just the highlights. I call this the intimacy of the ordinary. When someone shares seemingly unimportant details of their day with you, they're inviting you into their real world, not a polished version of themselves. They are saying, but without words, "I want you to be part of it, all of it, even the everyday parts." And here's a point many women don't fully understand. A man who respects your emotional intelligence doesn't leave you in the dark. If he can't reply right away, he explains it to you. He doesn't disappear without comment. He doesn't leave you on read as if your words are meaningless. He texts, "Going into a meeting, we'll message you after," or "I'll be offline for a bit, but we'll talk later." That's not extraordinary love. That's basic courtesy. But we live in a time where even the simplest consideration has become so rare that we confuse it with grand romantic gestures. And no, my love, that is the minimum you should expect from someone who claims to be interested in you. Now let's get to something I find especially telling: shared laughter. When a man sends you things he knows will make you laugh, memes only the two of you understand, inside jokes you've created together, he's showing you that he thinks of you throughout the day, that his first reaction when he sees something funny is, "I have to send this to her." Laughter, from my clinical perspective, is the language of emotional intimacy. It's the most natural way to build complicity, a shared world, that us against the world, feeling that characterizes strong relationships. This brings me to another key point. Real compliments go far beyond appearance. An emotionally mature man doesn't just tell you you're beautiful, he tells you he admires your way of thinking, that your view of life fascinates him, that he likes your energy, respects your ability to handle conflict. He sees your whole being, not just your looks. Because here's the truth, any man can tell you you're pretty, but only someone who really sees you, who looks beyond the surface, can compliment your personality, your character, your essence. Let me share one more thing that many mature women underestimate. Emojis and affectionate expressions aren't superficial when they come from a real feeling. A man who sends you hearts, smileys, or tender symbols is showing affection in the way available to him. It doesn't matter how old he is or how serious he usually is, true affection always finds a way to express itself. And in this digital age, a well-placed emoji can sometimes say more than 1,000 formal words. That brings me to a particularly revealing signal I keep observing. When a man is truly interested, he needs to know whether you're emotionally available. He rarely asks directly, but he finds ways to figure it out. He makes comments like, "Your boyfriend must be proud of you," or "I'm sure you're not alone often," or "Someone like you must have a full calendar." These are indirect, almost shy attempts to assess the situation, to find out whether he even has a chance with you or if he's just building castles in the air. It's his way of emotionally protecting himself while cautiously exploring if the path is worth it. And finally, the most important and perhaps the clearest sign, a man with genuine interest will not settle for an eternal virtual relationship. He creates opportunities to see you in person. He suggests having coffee, doing things together, looks for reasons to meet you in real life. Because deep inside he knows something many have forgotten. Real relationships are built through physical closeness, through chemistry that only becomes apparent when two bodies share the same space, through conversations that flow naturally when there is no screen in between. A man who truly wants to get to know you will do everything he can to move from the digital world into the real one with you. He will risk rejection. He will accept the uncertainty of a first meeting. He will bet on the possibility of something real. Now let's talk about the 4 signs that should set off all your internal alarms. Those red flags your intuition already feels, but your mind keeps trying to justify. The first red flag, and perhaps the most painful, short, emotionally cold replies. You open up, you share something personal, something meaningful, and he replies with a flat, "Okay, cool, nice." That's not shyness, that's not lack of expressiveness, and it's not just how men are. That's pure emotional indifference. It's his way of telling you, without words, that what you feel, what you experience, what's important to you, has no emotional resonance for him. And here comes something that keeps breaking my heart in practice. Smart women making excuses for this behavior. That's just how he is. He's not very expressive. Men have a hard time with feelings. No, my dear, if someone truly wants a connection with you, he'll always find a way. The second red flag, messages that come only at night or in the early morning hours. If all your conversations happen after 10 or 11 p.m., if his affectionate or suggestive texts appear only when the world is asleep, that's no coincidence. He's not seeking a deep connection. He's not interested in building something real and lasting with you. He's looking for nighttime company, late entertainment, someone to meet his needs, but not emotional ones. A man who truly wants a relationship with you texts you at 3 p.m. to ask how your day is going. He calls you on a Sunday morning to hear your voice. He reaches out when life is happening, not just when the night makes him feel lonely. The third red flag, sadly increasingly common, early requests for intimate photos or sexual content. If someone asks you for sensual pictures before genuine emotional closeness has developed, before he's earned your trust, before he's shown that he respects you as a whole person, then he's revealing what truly matters to him. He doesn't care about your thoughts, your dreams, your fears or hopes. He's interested in your body, in momentary gratification, in a curiosity that has nothing to do with real connection. And this is especially important for us women who've been through enough to know our sexuality is a gift. It belongs where there is trust, respect, and emotional reciprocity, not in a trade for attention. And finally, the fourth red flag, probably the most common and definitely one of the most frustrating, disappearing for days and then returning with complicated excuses. I didn't see your message. My phone was broken. I've been under so much stress. My app isn't working right. We live in a world where we're constantly online. Everyone sees their messages. Everyone has their phone with them almost always. If someone doesn't respond for days, it's not because he couldn't, it's because he chose not to. This is what I call passive withdrawal, one of the cruelest forms of emotional communication, a way of telling you that you're not a priority, without saying it outright. Keeping the door slightly open so you don't leave completely, but never opening it wide enough for you to actually step in. Passive withdrawal is more painful than honest rejection because it keeps you in emotional limbo, waiting, hoping, investing in someone who already decided not to invest in you. And now comes something you should deeply anchor in your heart and mind. Long silences, constantly late replies, repeated excuses. These are not coincidences, they are conscious decisions, they are silent messages telling you, you are not important enough in my emotional life, because if someone truly wants you, if you truly matter to him, you won't need to decode signals, analyze communication patterns. You no longer wonder if he likes you or if he's interested, You feel it. It's clear, it's consistent, it's as obvious as daylight. Mature love, real love, doesn't play hide and seek. It doesn't make you guess. It doesn't make you anxious, uncertain, or feel like you're walking on eggshells. It gives you emotional certainty, peace, that deep feeling that you can let go because you know exactly where you stand in that person's life. And this is especially important for us women who've been through enough to know emotional insecurity is neither romantic nor exciting. It's exhausting. It's toxic. It's a waste of time, energy we could invest in ourselves or in relationships that truly nourish us. If someone makes you an option, gives you only crumbs of attention, makes you feel like you constantly have to earn his interest, then he's showing you exactly where you stand on his list of priorities. And that place, my love, is not the one you deserve, because you are not a plan B, not a maybe, not a way to pass time. You are a whole woman with life experience, emotional wisdom, and so much to give the world. And you deserve to be the first choice for someone who recognizes your worth. True love needs no interpretation, no deep analysis, no elaborate justifications. It's like the sunrise. When it happens, you don't need an explanation. You just know a new day has begun. You feel it in your whole being. It's clear, natural, comforting. So next time you catch yourself analyzing every message, searching for hidden signs in every dot and emoji, deciphering response times, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself a fundamental question. Should I really have to spend this much mental energy to figure out if someone likes me? Or am I just trying to convince myself that there's something meaningful where probably there is nothing? Am I investing more energy in analyzing this person than he is in genuinely getting to know me? Your intuition, that inner voice you've developed through life experience, already knows the answers. Your wise heart already knows who truly values you. and who is just using you to fill his own emotional voids. And here's something you should remember well. In my clinical work, I've found that women who've been through divorces, painful breakups, or toxic relationships often develop a kind of emotional hypervigilance. They become experts at spotting danger signs, but sometimes lose the ability to recognize safety too. If you're one of those women who's been hurt, it's very likely your nervous system is tuned to danger. Your brain is trying to protect you, and that's why it sometimes interprets neutrality as rejection or patience as disinterest. It's an emotionally understandable survival mechanism. But here's what you need to know. Healing doesn't mean becoming blind to red flags. Healing means learning to distinguish between healthy caution and emotional paranoia. It means staying alert without living in a constant state of alarm. And that brings me to something I often observe. Many mature women have developed what I call toxic tolerance. They've normalized behaviors that are, in truth, unacceptable. They've lowered their standards so much that even the smallest bit of attention feels like a grand gesture. If you recognize yourself in this, I want you to know it's not your fault. Society taught us to be grateful for any male attention, especially when we're no longer in our 20s. We were led to believe that our value decreases with age, that we should settle for less, that we should be more forgiving of men who treat us poorly. That is a lie, a destructive lie that you need to erase from your thinking. Your worth as a woman has no expiration date. Your right to be treated with respect, affection, and genuine care doesn't diminish with age, it grows, because now you have the wisdom to know what you truly deserve. Let me tell you something a 63-year-old client once told me. Walter, I spent 40 years waiting for men to change for me. Today I know the only change that needed to happen was mine. I had to change my standards, rethink my expectations, and end my tolerance for the unacceptable. And here comes something vital that you truly need to understand. Recognizing these signs doesn't mean becoming suspicious or bitter. It means developing what I call relationship intelligence, the ability to quickly and clearly assess whether someone is a good emotional investment, because that's exactly what relationships are, emotional investments. You invest your time, your energy, your affection, your hope, and just like with any smart investment, you must evaluate whether there's a realistic chance of return, or if you're simply pouring your emotional capital into a bottomless pit. A man who sends mixed signals, keeps you uncertain, makes you guess his intentions is a bad investment. It doesn't matter how attractive he is, how successful he seems, or how good he looks on paper. If he can't give you emotional clarity, he does not deserve your investment. And here's something I consider fundamental. We mature women have a massive advantage over younger ones. We no longer desperately seek male validation. We no longer confuse intensity with intimacy, drama with passion, or possessiveness with love. We know the difference between someone who truly wants us and someone who just needs us, between someone who chooses us consciously and someone who clings to us out of fear of being alone, between someone who strengthens us and someone who drains us. And let me tell you one more thing. Your intuition, that inner voice you've developed through years of experience, is your most powerful tool. That uneasy feeling in your gut when something feels off, that restlessness when words don't match actions, that quiet tug that tells you something's not right here, that's your inner wisdom. Listen to it. Don't rationalize it away. Don't minimize it with phrases like, I'm probably overreacting or I'm just too sensitive. Your intuition is the result of thousands of micro-observations your brain has processed automatically. It's not paranoia, it's information. And I've seen it over and over again. Women who learn to trust their intuition, who find the courage to act on their feelings, not just on their logic, end up in the healthiest, most fulfilling relationships. Experience has taught you to know the difference between real love and convenient attention, between someone who sees you as a whole person and someone who sees you as a temporary distraction, between someone who wants to build with you and someone who is just passing time until something better comes along. Trust what you know, trust what you've learned, Trust the wisdom that comes only from lived life. Trust that you deserve something real, lasting, nourishing for your soul, for your heart. Because when love is real, when it's mature, when it's mutual, you don't have to be an emotional detective to recognize it. You just live it, you feel it, you enjoy it, and you are at peace with the certainty that you are finally exactly where you're meant to be. And if after all this you realize you're in a situation where you have to guess feelings, decode intentions, justify silence, downplay your own longing for clarity, then please ask yourself this one deeper question. Wouldn't all this energy be so much better invested in myself? In your growth, your emotional well-being, your own happiness? In the space you can create for someone who won't let you doubt your worth for even a second? Because at the end of the day, my love, it's not just about finding someone. It's about finding someone who deserves you, who sees your worth without you having to explain it, who treats you with the respect you've long known you deserve. And while you meet that person, or choose to be alone rather than poorly accompanied, remember, you are whole exactly as you are. You don't need male validation to feel valuable. You don't need a relationship to feel complete. You need a relationship that enriches your life, not one that makes you question yourself. Because true love, the love you deserve, the love that nourishes and accompanies you in this wonderful phase of life, doesn't come with a complicated manual. It comes with crystal clear presence, with comforting steadiness, with the inner peace of knowing that finally you are exactly where you're supposed to be.